Reprogram your mind for wealth, peace, and power. A mental reset for a new life. You've been living in a mental prison, shackled by old beliefs, held back by fear, scarcity, and noise. But what if I told you, with a single decision, you could reset your mind and rewire your entire life for wealth, peace, and unstoppable power? This is not motivation. It's transformation. Introduction. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you're not really living? Like something inside you knows you were made for more, but the outside world keeps pulling you back, dimming your light, distracting you from your calling. I know that feeling all too well. And I know you didn't just stumble on this video by accident. You're here because your soul is whispering, no more. No more surviving. No more self-doubt. No more mental clutter keeping you broke, tired, and afraid. You're ready for a reset. A clean slate. A total mental upgrade. And you know what? You deserve it. Because the truth is, you were never meant to live in lack. You were never meant to live in fear. And you were never meant to hand over your power to your past. But here's what no one tells you. Your mind was programmed. Not by you, but by the people who raised you, the society that shaped you, the trauma that wounded you, and the fears that were passed down to you like an unwanted inheritance. You were taught what to believe about money, about success, about love, and about your own worth. But here's the good news. What was programmed can be reprogrammed. Let that sink in. If you learn to think small, you can learn to think big. If you were wired to worry, you can be rewired for peace. And if you've been conditioned to settle for less, you can retrain your mind to expect more. Not someday, but starting today. Because the mind, your mind, is the most powerful technology in existence. And when you learn how to control it, to reset it, to align it with truth, abundance, and power, everything changes. Your energy, your income, your relationships, your inner peace. This isn't about pretending to be positive. It's about rewriting the code in your subconscious. It's about clearing the lies and planting new mental roots so deep that wealth becomes natural. Peace becomes your default. And power? It flows through your words, your choices, your presence. I want you to imagine something with me. What if, 90 days from now, you woke up in total alignment? No anxiety. No stress about money, no fear of failure, just calm, confidence, and a crystal clear sense of purpose. Sounds like a dream? It's not. It's what happens when you reprogram your mind. And that's what we're going to do together. In this audiobook experience, I'm not here to lecture you. I'm not reading you a bunch of theories. I'm walking with you, step by step, through a mental transformation that will change everything. We're going to dive deep into the mind, expose the roots of your current reality, and pull out the weeds of lack, guilt, and limitation. Then we'll replant truth, power, discipline, and alignment with wealth. Because you don't need another secret formula. You need a mental reset, a shift so powerful that your old life simply can't survive your new mindset. So if you're ready, if you're done playing small, if you're done being a prisoner to old thoughts and broken cycles, then let's begin. Take a deep breath. This is not just a video. This is your new beginning. Let's reprogram your mind for wealth, peace, and power. Chapter 1. The Power of Mental Reprogramming. Let me tell you a secret. Your life is a reflection of your programming, not your dreams, not your intentions, not even your hard work. It's your programming, the thoughts that run through your mind on autopilot, the beliefs that whisper, you're not good enough, the emotional patterns that sabotage your success without permission. That's the programming I'm talking about. And here's the truth most people never hear. You were programmed without your consent. You didn't choose to fear money. You didn't choose to feel unworthy. You didn't choose to doubt yourself every time an opportunity came your way. That was installed. From childhood, by parents who were afraid, by teachers who were limited, by a world that rewarded conformity instead of greatness. They told you money doesn't grow on trees. Don't be too confident. Be realistic. Stay safe. Fit in. So you did. You shrank. You settled. You softened your voice. Just to belong. But deep down, you always knew you were meant for more. And that whisper inside you, that quiet voice urging you to rise, that's your original programming, the one before the world corrupted it. See, when you were born, you had no fear, no doubt, no limits. You reached. You explored. You believed. That pure version of you is still there, buried beneath layers of fear, failure, and falsehoods. But here's the breakthrough. You can reprogram yourself. You can rewrite the code. And not just on a surface level, but deep within the subconscious mind, where the real decisions are made. Because it's not willpower that changes lives. It's identity. It's belief. It's automation of truth. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine your mind is like a computer. Over the years, you've installed hundreds of files. Some useful, most harmful, files like scarcity.exe. I'll never be enough. DLL. Fear of success. PKG. And these files run silently, in the background, all day, every day, until one day your system crashes. You hit a wall. You can't grow your business. You can't stay consistent. You can't stop sabotaging the very goals you claim to want. Why? Because your operating system is corrupted. And no matter how much you read, hustle, or pray, you're running outdated code. So what do? You stop everything. You breathe. You say, it's time to reset. That's what this journey is. A reset. Not just of goals, but of thought patterns, of beliefs, of emotional responses. And when you reprogram your mind, you don't just think differently. You become different. Your energy changes. Your language evolves. Your posture says, I belong here. Suddenly, people notice something about you. They can't explain it, but they feel it. You're no longer chasing. You're attracting, because you've become a magnet for the very life you used to only fantasize about. And it all begins with this one truth. Your mind is not fixed. It's programmable. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who lived in the same neighborhood his whole life. Every morning, he walked the same path to work, passed the same houses, waved to the same people, and thought the same thoughts. He was predictable, safe, stuck. One day, he got lost in thought and turned down the wrong street. At first, he panicked. This wasn't part of the routine. But then, he looked up and saw a part of town he'd never noticed. Beautiful gardens, fresh air, people smiling. It felt like another world. He didn't know it existed because he never allowed his mind to wander off the old road. Now, what if your mind is like that neighborhood? You've been walking the same mental path for years. The path of fear, doubt, survival, and maybe, just maybe, getting lost. In this moment, this chapter is the greatest blessing of your life because it's showing you something new, a different street, a different way, a different you. You don't have to keep walking the path you were handed. You can choose your beliefs now. You can delete what no longer serves you, and you can install new thoughts that match the version of you you're becoming. Here's the truth. You were not meant to be average. You were not meant to be broke. You were not meant to live in constant anxiety. You were meant to rise, to lead, to be at peace, to walk in power, to overflow with abundance. But it all starts here, not in your wallet, not in your habits, not in your circle, in your mind. Because when you reprogram your mind, you rewire your entire experience of reality. So ask yourself, what thoughts are running my life on autopilot? Who put them there? And what happens if I finally choose to uninstall them? Take a deep breath. You're no longer a slave to what was. You're the architect of what's next. Let's reprogram. Together. Chapter 2. Delete the virus of scarcity thinking. There's a silent virus running in your subconscious. And it's not poverty. It's not laziness. It's not bad luck. It's scarcity. That quiet, gnawing belief that there's not enough money, not enough time, not enough love, not enough opportunity. Scarcity is not just an idea. It's a lens. a filter through which you've been taught to see the world. It's the reason you hesitate before investing in yourself. It's why you undercharge for your skills. It's why you sabotage blessings that feel too good to be true. Because deep down, your brain has been wired to believe if you win, someone else loses. If you succeed too much, people will hate you. If you ask for more, you're being greedy. But let me tell you something that changed my life. The world is not limited. Your thinking is. You were born into a universe of abundance. There are oceans you've never seen, cities you've never visited, currencies flowing through global systems in numbers too large to imagine. There is enough, more than enough. But you can't experience abundance on the outside until you delete the virus of scarcity from the inside. Let me show you how this virus spreads. As a child, maybe you heard, money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. We can't afford that. You should be grateful for what you have. Now, let's be clear, gratitude is powerful. But when gratitude is used to silence your desire for more, that's not virtue. That's control. They taught you to shrink, to settle, to believe that wanting more meant being ungrateful. And so you started to feel guilty. Every time you dreamed big, that guilt, that fear, that's scarcity's grip. I remember a woman who had the opportunity to grow her business. She had the skills, the passion, the clients waiting. But when the time came to raise her prices, she froze. She said, "What if people stop buying? What if they think I'm greedy?" So she stayed broke, not because she didn't deserve wealth, but because scarcity whispered, "You'll lose it all." And here's the tragedy. Most people don't even realize they've been infected. They go through life operating under this belief, I am not allowed to receive more than I need. Think about that for a second. Isn't that what you were taught? That your job is just to get by? That wanting luxury is selfish? That having too much means you're stealing from others? But let me ask you this. When you walk into a room filled with candles, does one candle steal light from the others? No, it multiplies the light. The same is true with abundance. When you grow, when you expand, when you earn more, give more, create more, you increase the light in the world. Scarcity thinking says, don't shine too bright. But abundance says, shine so bright that others remember their own light. So how do you delete the virus of scarcity? You start with awareness. Catch the thoughts. When you hear yourself say, I can't afford that, I'm not ready, I should be happy with what I have, pause. Ask yourself, is this true? Or is this programming? Next, replace it. Don't just remove the lie. Replace it with a truth. Like, there is more than enough. I am allowed to receive. I can expand without guilt. I do not need permission to prosper. Say it with me right now. I'm not stealing by succeeding. I am serving. I am growing. I am receiving with open hands. That's the mental reprogramming you need. Now, let's talk about another part of the scarcity trap. Comparison. You scroll online. You see someone celebrating success. And you feel small. That's not jealousy. That's scarcity telling you, they took your piece of the pie. But let me be clear. There is no pie. There's a bakery. And you can build your own kitchen. You can bake every day if you want to. Their win is not your loss. Their breakthrough is not your breakdown. Their wealth does not subtract from your potential. Scarcity thrives on separation. Abundance lives in connection. So instead of shrinking in envy, say, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. If they can rise, I can rise. If they broke through, so can I. If they created wealth from nothing, so can I. But only if I stop feeding the virus. So here's your reflection for today. Where in your life are you operating from not enough? Who taught you that enough was too much? And what would change if you fully believed that abundance is your birthright? Take a moment. Let it sink in. Because this is where the reprogramming starts. In catching the virus, in deleting the lie, in installing new truth, you are not here to survive. You are here to expand, to thrive, to circulate wealth like breath, to overflow without apology. And you can, but only if you choose it. You don't have to earn abundance through struggle. You don't have to prove you're worthy through suffering. You don't need a permission slip to prosper. You just need to say, I'm ready, then act like it. Speak like it. Move like it. Think like it. Every day. Until scarcity is no longer your master. And abundance becomes your default. That's mental reprogramming. And that's the path we're walking. Together. Let's keep going. Chapter 3. Rewire yourself. Image to match the life you want. If your life feels stuck right now, if you keep chasing big goals, but nothing clicks, if you work hard, but success never seems to stay, then you're not lazy. You're not cursed. And you're not broken. You're just misaligned. Because no matter how hard you push on the outside, nothing will shift until you upgrade the image you hold of yourself on the inside. Let's get honest. You can't live a life that contradicts your identity. You might want wealth, but if you see yourself as broke, you'll keep making broke decisions. You might crave peace, but if you believe you're chaotic, you'll always attract more noise. You might dream of being powerful, but if you still identify as the underdog, you'll always play small. Because the brain, your beautiful, brilliant brain, will always fight to protect your self-image, even if that image is outdated, even if it's hurting you. Let me explain. Your self-image is like the thermostat in your house. It regulates everything. You can turn up the heat temporarily, work harder, push, grind, but if your thermostat is still set to 65, everything will cool back down. That's why you sabotage yourself after breakthroughs. That's why you attract people who don't respect your boundaries. That's why success feels temporary, because your identity pulls you back. So the key isn't to work harder. It's to raise the thermostat, to reprogram your self-image. Let me tell you a true story. There was a young man who grew up poor. Food stamps, evictions, secondhand clothes. As he grew older, he became obsessed with changing his life. He studied finance, started a business, made his first $50,000 in a single year. But then, he panicked. He started overspending, avoided looking at his accounts, got anxious every time he had to make a decision. Within 6 months, he lost everything. Why? Because his bank account changed, but his identity didn't. Deep down, he still saw himself as poor, as undeserving, as someone who wasn't good with money. And until that changed, nothing else could last. You see, the most important upgrade isn't in your phone. It's in your self-image. Because you will always live up to the story you believe about yourself. So if you believe, I'm not good at saving, I'm too emotional, I'm bad at business, I'm just a procrastinator, you'll prove yourself right. Every single time. Not because you want to fail, but because your subconscious is protecting what it thinks is true. That's why reprogramming is not about pretending. It's about replacing. You don't just say, I am rich, and hope it sticks. You build the image of someone who manages wealth with confidence. You walk like that person. You speak like them. You make decisions through their lens. It's not about faking it. It's about installing it. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Identify the old image. Ask yourself, what story have I been telling myself about who I am? Where did it come from? Whose voice told me I was too much or not enough? Get clear. Is it the voice of a parent? A teacher? A past partner? Whose version of you are you still living? Because you can't overwrite what you're afraid to face. Step 2. Interrupt the narrative. The next time your mind says, you always mess this up, or this never works for you, pause it. Say out loud, that's the old version of me speaking. This interruption is powerful. It gives you distance. It helps you see the program running so you can stop feeding it. Step 3. Install a new identity. Now choose who you want to become. Not what you want to have, not what you want to do, but who you want to be. Do you want to be someone who handles money wisely, feels calm and grounded, attracts opportunities easily, speaks with clarity and conviction? Write that version of you down. Give them a name. Visualize them. Talk like them. Walk like them. And every day, repeat, this is who I am now, not someday, not I hope to be, now. Because the subconscious doesn't care about the truth. It cares about repetition. What you say often enough becomes your identity. And what you believe long enough becomes your reality. Let me offer you a metaphor. Your self-image is like a mirror that was covered in dust. Every insult, Every failure, every limitation someone else gave you added another layer. And now, you're just wiping it clean, bit by bit, until you finally see yourself again. Strong, capable, worthy, powerful. That version of you has been there the whole time, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be chosen. So choose it. Every time you look in the mirror, ask, am I reflecting the life I want? And if the answer is no, change the reflection. Because here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your self-image. So raise it. Speak to yourself with honor. Make decisions that match your next level. Refuse to wear identities that were never meant for you. And remember, you are not who you were. You are who you decide to be. Right now. So take a breath. Wipe the mirror clean. And say with boldness, this is who I am now. And this time, I'm not going back. Chapter 4. Master the inner voice. Silence the saboteur. There's a voice inside your head. You know the one. The voice that says, you're not ready. You always mess this up. Why even try? It's subtle, but powerful. It whispers doubt at the worst times. Right before you make a move. Right before you say yes to something new. Right before the breakthrough. And here's the kicker. That voice sounds like you. So you believe it. But let's get one thing clear. That is not your voice. That is your saboteur. It's the ghost of old fears, old stories, old programming. And if you don't learn to master that voice, it will master you. Let's talk truth. Every day, you have a conversation with yourself. From the moment you wake up to the moment you close your eyes, thoughts are talking. Some encourage you. Most sabotage you. They question your worth. They replay your failures. They exaggerate your flaws. And here's why that matters. The words you repeat become the world you live in. If your inner voice is always criticizing, doubting, minimizing, you will unconsciously shape your life to match that dialogue. That's not law of attraction. That's neuroscience. The more you think a thought, the stronger the neural pathway becomes, until it becomes automatic. So that voice you hear, it's not truth. It's habit. And, like any habit, it can be broken. Let me tell you about a man I met once. He was a brilliant entrepreneur, built a multi-million-dollar business. But every time something went right, he'd find a way to ruin it. Sabotage the deal, miss the opportunity, argue with the client. When we finally dug into the root, it became clear. His inner voice was still telling him he didn't deserve success. So no matter what he built on the outside, he kept tearing it down from the inside. Until he changed the voice. He started talking back. He stopped letting the voice go unchallenged. And for the first time, he began to speak life over himself. Not fake positivity, but true authority. Let me ask you, what is the most common thing you say to yourself? When you're alone? Is it empowering? Is it compassionate? Is it aligned with the person you want to become? If not, that's the first place to reprogram. Here's how. Step 1. Separate from the saboteur. The voice in your head is not you. It's a recording, an echo from your past. So when it shows up, say, that's just the old voice talking. You don't argue with it. You don't fight it. You just recognize, this isn't truth. This is memory. That simple shift gives you power. Step 2. Replace the script. Your brain craves structure. If you remove one thought, you must replace it with another. So when the voice says, you're going to fail, you say, I've learned from every failure and I'm ready now. When it says, you're not good enough, you say, I'm growing stronger every day. I am enough right now. Create a new script. Speak it out loud. Repeat it often, because repetition rewires belief. Step 3. Turn the inner critic into an inner coach. Here's a powerful shift. What if the voice in your head could become your mentor instead of your enemy? What if it encouraged you, reminded you of your progress, corrected you with kindness? That's the goal. Not to silence your inner voice, but to upgrade it. You want your inner voice to say, you've been through worse and survived. You're not alone anymore. You're exactly where you need to be. Keep going. Your future is unfolding. Let's do a quick exercise. Right now, close your eyes unless you're driving. Of course. And repeat after me. I am not my doubts. I am not my fears. I am the voice of my future. I speak peace. I speak power. I speak truth. Say that again. Feel it in your bones, because that's what reprogramming feels like. Not just thinking differently, but speaking differently. Now here's a key distinction. This doesn't mean you'll never hear the old voice again. It will still show up, but now you'll recognize it. You'll know it's just noise, and you'll choose not to obey. Think of it like this. Imagine your mind is a radio. For years, you've been tuned in to the scarcity and fear station. But guess what? You control the dial. You can change the frequency. You can choose Empowerment FM, Abundance Radio, Peace 101.9. And when you stay tuned to those channels long enough, your life will begin to match the sound. So here's your reflection. What is the voice in my head really saying about me? Would I talk to my best friend the way I talk to myself? What new language can I install into my mind, starting today? You don't need to fix everything overnight. You just need to start paying attention. And when the saboteur shows up again, smile, nod, and say, "Thank you for your concern, but I've got this now." Because you do. Your future doesn't depend on silencing every fear. It depends on choosing which voice to believe. And now that you know the difference, you're ready to take the next step. Let's go deeper. Chapter 5. Wealth is a frequency tune your mind to receive. What if I told you wealth is not something you chase? It's something you tune into. Like a radio signal, wealth is a frequency, and your mind is the receiver. If your mental dial is stuck on fear, guilt, or survival, you'll block the very things you desire. But when you tune your thoughts, your words, your energy, to the frequency of abundance, money flows. Opportunities show up. People respond to you differently. Ideas come faster. Doors that used to be locked open effortlessly. But let's start with the hard truth. Most people are tuned to the wrong frequency. They wake up thinking, "I hope I make it today." They spend money with fear. They ask for help with shame. They dream, but they doubt the dream while they're dreaming it. That's not a wealth mindset. That's a scarcity signal, and it repels abundance. Let me paint the picture clearer. Imagine you're trying to listen to your favorite song, but you're tuned 2 stations off. All you hear is static, fragments of melody, noise. That's how most people experience money. Just noise, stress, confusion. But it's not because the music isn't playing. It's because they're not aligned. Wealth is always broadcasting. You just have to match the signal. And you do that by shifting 3 things. 1. Your thoughts. 2. Your emotions. 3. Your actions. Let's break them down. 1. Thought alignment. Speak the language of wealth. Wealth has a language. It speaks in solutions, not problems. It speaks in boldness, not hesitation. It speaks in value, not victimhood. So when your inner voice says, "I can't afford that. I'll never be rich. Money just doesn't stick to me," you're speaking the language of lack. You're telling the universe, "I'm not ready to receive." But when you say, "There's more where that came from. I create money through my value. I'm learning to manage wealth like a pro." Now you're speaking wealth. You're sending out a different frequency, and life responds. 2. Emotional alignment. Feel safe with abundance. Let me ask you something deep. Does money feel safe to you? Or do you tense up when you receive it? Do you feel guilty when you have more than others? Do you fear losing it the moment it arrives? That's emotional misalignment. If your nervous system is afraid of wealth, you'll unconsciously reject it. Maybe you'll overspend, or undercharge, or delay making the move that would change your life. Not because you're dumb, but because abundance doesn't feel safe yet. But here's what I want you to remember. You are allowed to feel calm with money. You are allowed to feel secure with wealth. You are allowed to feel peaceful in overflow. It's not selfish. It's not wrong. It's your right. So take a breath and affirm, it's safe to receive. It's safe to keep. It's safe to grow. 3. Action alignment. Move like money belongs to you. This is the part most people miss. They say affirmations, they journal goals. But when the opportunity comes, they hesitate. They play small. They delay decisions. They negotiate their worth. That's not wealth frequency. That's doubt frequency. You want to know the easiest way to reprogram your mind for abundance? Make decisions like a wealthy version of you. Before the money comes, wealthy people don't wait for proof. They move from alignment. They invest with confidence. They delegate what drains them. They build what multiplies. And you can too, even if your bank account is low right now. Even if no one believes in your dream. Even if your past is filled with financial pain. Because wealth is not about dollars first. It's about identity. Act like someone who belongs in the room. Speak like someone who knows their value. Walk like someone who's already chosen themselves. That's the signal. That's the frequency. And that's what life will respond to. Let me tell you a true story. There was a woman I knew who had been stuck in financial chaos for years. Every time she saved, an emergency hit. Every time she launched, it flopped. Until one day, she realized something simple. She didn't believe she was worthy of ease. She was addicted to the struggle. So she did something radical. She stopped hustling. She stopped trying to force success. Instead, she made wealth feel normal. She woke up every morning and asked, how does the wealthy version of me start her day? How does she respond to problems? How does she treat her time? And she became her. She dressed differently, spoke differently, charged differently. Within 6 months, she crossed her first six-figure mark. Not because she got lucky, but because she tuned in. She changed her frequency. And money matched it. Now it's your turn. Here's your reflection. What frequency am I currently broadcasting to the world? What thoughts, emotions, and actions are blocking the signal of wealth? How would I move if I truly believed abundance belonged to me? Take a breath. You don't have to force the flow. You just have to align. Wealth is already available, right now, in this moment, but only to the version of you who's tuned in to receive it. So repeat after me. I am tuned to wealth. I think with clarity. I feel safe in abundance. I move with power. Say it again, then go live it. Because the frequency of wealth is playing, and it's time for you to turn it up. Chapter 6. Discipline is the gateway to peace and power. You've been told that discipline is hard, that it's punishment, restriction, sacrifice. But what if I told you discipline is freedom? Discipline is not the enemy of peace. It's the pathway to it. It's not the opposite of power. It's the source of it. Without discipline, your life becomes a reaction to emotions, to pressure, to circumstances. But with discipline, you become the architect of your own reality. You create space. You take control. You stop waiting and start building. Let me say something you need to hear. You do not need more motivation. You need structure. You need self-trust. You need non-negotiables. Because left to chance, your mind will drift back into chaos. Old patterns, old comforts, old versions of you. But when you set a new standard and stick to it, everything changes. Your mornings change. Your decisions sharpen. Your energy becomes focused. And the world starts to respect you. Because you respect yourself. Let's go deeper. Discipline is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. It's choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. It's choosing clarity over chaos. It's choosing to move with power, even when no one's watching. Here's what most people get wrong. They think discipline is about grinding endlessly, waking up at 4 a.m., drinking green juice, working until they collapse. But true discipline is quiet, steady, intentional. It's setting your own rules and actually honoring them. It's saying, I said I'd journal every morning, so I do. I said I'd save 10%, so I will. I said I'd walk for 20 minutes, so I walk. Not because it's fun, not because you feel like it, but because you trust yourself. And that's the kind of self-respect that builds peace. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who lived in constant anxiety, always overwhelmed, always tired, always feeling behind. He tried everything: therapy, supplements, motivation videos, but nothing stuck. Until one day, his mentor said, "Your life feels chaotic because you live without anchors." So he decided to build some. He created a morning ritual, cut his screen time, scheduled quiet time for reflection, started honoring his bedtime, and for the first time in years, he felt calm, he felt powerful, he felt centered. Not because life got easier, but because he got stronger. That's the gift of discipline. It doesn't make life perfect. It makes you prepared. So let's get practical. How do you build this kind of power? 1. Start small, but sacred. Don't try to change everything overnight. Start with one promise, one ritual, one behavior that aligns with your highest self. Maybe it's journaling 10 minutes a day. Maybe it's reading one chapter of a wealth book every morning. Maybe it's putting your phone away before bed. Whatever it is, make it sacred. Treat it like an appointment with your future self. 2. Honor your word. Discipline is not about motivation. It's about integrity. It's asking, can I trust myself to do what I said I would do? That trust is the seed of all confidence. The more you honor your word to yourself, the louder your inner power becomes. And the more you break it, the more your mind doubts everything you say. So start with something small. Then keep your promise like it's gold. 3. Embrace boredom. This one might surprise you. Discipline isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's boring, repetitive, quiet. But that's the secret most people miss. Boredom is where the breakthroughs live. It's in the days where nothing big happens, but you still show up. It's in the quiet, invisible reps that no one applauds. And it's in those moments that real peace is built. So don't run from boredom. Embrace it. Let it become your training ground for greatness. Now let's talk about something powerful. Discipline is a form of self-love. It's not punishment. It's not control. It's care. It's saying, I love myself too much to keep living in chaos. I respect my peace too much to keep breaking my own rules. I deserve a life that feels grounded, and I'm willing to build it. This kind of mindset, it doesn't just attract success. It commands it, because success follows order, and order follows discipline. So if you feel stuck right now, not because you lack talent, but because you feel scattered, don't ask for more time. Don't wait for a sign. Set a rhythm. Create rituals. Decide your priorities before the world chooses for you. Because when you become rooted in your own routines, no storm can shake you. You'll stop waking up in panic. You'll stop reacting to everything. You'll stop waiting for motivation to strike. You'll just move. Because discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being aligned. Let's reflect. What's one daily habit I can commit to starting today? Where am I breaking promises to myself? And how can I repair that trust? What would my life feel like if I moved with quiet, focused discipline? Take a moment. Breathe. Decide. Because this is your turning point. From scattered to structured. From reactive to intentional. From anxious to anchored. You don't need more motivation. You need discipline. And that starts right now. Let's keep going. Chapter 7. Thoughts become things control your inner narrative. What if I told you your outer world is just a mirror, a reflection of your inner narrative? Not just what you say out loud, but what you think, what you repeat, and what you believe when no one's listening. Your thoughts are things. They're not invisible. They're not harmless. They are seeds. And every single day, you are planting them. And the harvest, it becomes your reality, your income, your relationships, your energy, your confidence. So let me ask you something personal. What kind of thoughts are you feeding your mind every day? Be honest. Are they thoughts of fear, self-doubt, comparison, or are they thoughts of growth, faith, power, vision? Because whether you realize it or not, you are speaking your future into existence with every quiet sentence that lives in your mind. And if you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think about your life. Let's go deeper. Every result you've experienced up to this point started with a thought. The habits you have? Fueled by thought. The job you chose? Thought. The relationships you're in? Thought. The amount of money you expect each month? Still thought. Nothing happens until the mind agrees. That means if you can control your thoughts, you can control your outcomes. But here's the problem. Most people don't think on purpose. They react. They absorb. They inherit beliefs. They let the world decide what plays in their mental theater. And that's where the battle is lost. Because your thoughts are not neutral. They are creative forces. They attract. They repel. They multiply. Every time you say, "I'm not good enough," you reinforce that reality. Every time you think, "I'll never get ahead," you program your subconscious to find ways to stay behind. It's not magic. It's mental momentum. Let me show you how powerful your thoughts are. Close your eyes for a second. Picture a lemon, bright yellow, sharp edges, juice glistening on the surface. Now imagine cutting it in half, lifting it to your mouth, and taking a deep bite. Did your mouth react? Did your face twitch? That's the power of thought. No lemon exists, but your body believed it. That's what happens when you think thoughts of failure, thoughts of fear, thoughts of lack. Your mind believes it. Your body reacts. And your life organizes itself around those ideas. But the opposite is also true. When you think thoughts of victory, thoughts of wealth, thoughts of peace and power, your body begins to align. Your confidence rises. You take different actions. You speak with a new tone. Because the mind is the master, and life is the servant. So if your thoughts are the foundation, then your reality is the echo. Let me tell you a story. There was a young woman, talented, driven, full of potential. But no matter how hard she tried, she kept falling short. Every job she wanted slipped through her hands. Every time she saved money, something went wrong. She began to think, maybe I'm cursed. Maybe I just don't deserve more. Until one day, a mentor asked her, "What's the sentence you repeat to yourself the most?" She paused and said, "I guess I always think I mess things up." Her mentor said, "Then that's the story you're living." So she changed it. She wrote a new sentence. "I am learning. I am capable. I create success through consistency." She repeated it daily. She wrote it on mirrors. She whispered it in the shower. She declared it before interviews. 6 months later, she landed her dream job. A year after that, she started her own business. Why? Not because she became someone new, but because she started thinking like her future self. The story you tell becomes the life you live. So let me ask you, what's the story you're telling yourself in your mind? Are you the victim? The struggler? The one who never gets picked? Or are you the builder? The leader? The one who is rising, growing, becoming? It's time to take your power back, one thought at a time. Here's how to do it. 1. Audit your thoughts. Take one full day to observe your internal dialogue. Write down the most common themes. What do you say when you wake up? When you mess up? When you dream big? Become aware of the patterns. Awareness is the first step to transformation. 2. Create power statements. Craft 3-5 sentences that reflect the truth of who you are becoming. Make them strong. Make them present tense. Examples. I am disciplined and focused. I am attracting wealth daily. I speak with clarity and power. I am aligned with peace and purpose. Write them. Repeat them. Live them. 3. Replace the default story. Every time an old, disempowering thought shows up, catch it, pause it, and replace it with a power statement. Think of it like changing the channel. The old frequency is static, but the new one, it plays the music of your future. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Until one day, you wake up and the voice in your mind isn't your enemy anymore. It's your guide, your fuel, your friend. Let's reflect. What sentence has been running my life? Who taught me to think that way? And what would change if I wrote a new story? Because here's the truth. You are not your past thoughts. You are the thinker, and the thinker has the power to choose again. So choose. Speak life. Think big. Build a new narrative. Because thoughts become things, and you are the author of it all. Chapter 8. Design your future live from vision, not memory. Let me ask you something powerful. Are you living from your vision or from your memory? Because the difference is everything. Living from memory means you're recycling your past. The pain, the patterns, The fear of what happened last time. But living from vision? That means you're creating something new, something bold, something that has never existed before. Memory is the prison. Vision is the key. Most people don't realize it, but they're trapped, not by chains, not by circumstance, but by mental loops that keep them stuck in the past. Every decision is filtered through yesterday's pain. Every opportunity is filtered through last year's fear. And every desire is dimmed by what didn't work before. But here's the truth. The past is a place of reference, not residence. You are not meant to stay there. You are meant to rise. Let me be real with you. If you continue to wake up and base your choices on old experiences, you will create the same day, the same week, the same year, over and over again. That's not a future. That's a loop, a mental replay. And you deserve better than that. You deserve to be the designer of your life, not just the survivor of your history. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who had a dream of becoming a writer. But every time he sat down to write, he heard the voice of his high school teacher saying, "You'll never make it." That voice haunted him, not because it was true, but because he had made the mistake of living from memory. One day, he asked himself a different question. What if my future self could speak to me instead? And he imagined that version, the published author, the respected speaker, the man who had books on shelves and messages in hearts. And that version of him said, "Keep writing. Your words are needed. You're already becoming who you were born to be." That voice, it changed everything, because he stopped listening to his past and started living from his future. And so can you. Let me break this down. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. That's why you cry during movies, laugh during dreams, flinch when someone tells a painful story. Your brain responds to what you focus on. So when you focus on your past, you relive it. But when you focus on your vision, you rehearse it. And that rehearsal becomes reality. So how do you start living from vision? Let me show you. 1. Define the future you want. Be specific. Not, "I want to be rich." Not, "I want to be happy." Try this instead. "I want to wake up with peace in my body." "I want to run a business that pays me $50,000 a month while helping others." "I want to speak with confidence and be known for my wisdom." "I want to walk into any room and feel like I belong." Feel the difference? Your vision must be vivid, colorful, clear, because clarity is magnetic. 2. Visualize it daily. Take 5 minutes every morning. Close your eyes. See the version of you who already has the life you want. Feel how they breathe, how they walk, what they say, how they handle problems. Let your nervous system get used to the feeling of that future. Because the more familiar it becomes, the less resistance you'll feel when it arrives. 3. Make present-day decisions from future you's mind. Here's where the shift happens. When you face a decision, ask, what would the version of me with the life I desire do right now? Would they procrastinate? Would they undercharge? Would they say yes to things that drain them? Or would they move with boldness? Would they delegate? Would they protect their peace? Start letting that version of you lead. Now, not later, not someday. Now, because you can't become your future self by thinking like your old self. Let me offer a metaphor. Imagine your mind as a GPS system. When you enter your destination, your vision, it begins calculating routes. It finds solutions. It recalibrates when you take a wrong turn. But if you keep punching in your old location, it'll take you right back to where you started. So, update the coordinates. Stop typing in fear. Stop navigating by regret. Stop living from "I've failed before." And start entering confidence, peace, wealth, purpose, power. That's how you escape the loop. That's how you live from vision. Let's reflect. Am I making decisions from my past or from my future? What would the most aligned version of me stop tolerating right now? What's one bold action I can take this week that aligns with my next level? Let's go even deeper. Every single person you admire, every powerful leader, every wealthy entrepreneur, every peaceful soul, they didn't arrive by accident. They lived from vision. They spoke from vision. They made sacrifices based on where they were going. not where they'd been. And so can you. You don't need more proof. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to decide, I am done living from memory. Today, I choose vision. And let that vision pull you. Every day, every choice, every breath. Let it anchor you. Let it guide you. Because your past has nothing new to offer you. But your future is waiting with open arms. Chapter 9. Break the cycle in self-sabotage for good. Let's talk about something that keeps too many people stuck. Self-sabotage. It's quiet. It's sneaky. And it usually shows up right when things are starting to go right. You finally start that project. Then you stop halfway. You make money. Then spend it all in a panic. You meet someone who respects you. Then push them away without knowing why. It's not bad luck. It's not coincidence. It's not because things never work out. It's because deep down, a part of you believes you don't deserve it. And that belief will ruin every good thing that tries to enter your life. Here's the truth no one tells you. Self-sabotage is not self-hate. It's self-protection. Your brain is not trying to destroy you. It's trying to keep you safe. But the problem is, your brain has the wrong definition of safe. It thinks familiar equals safe, and unfamiliar equals danger. So when you start to rise, when you get close to wealth, peace, love, or success, that survival system kicks in, and suddenly, you overthink. You procrastinate. You pick fights. You hide. Not because you're broken, but because your subconscious is saying, this feels new, and new is scary. Let's go back to what we know. Even if what you know is struggle. Even if what you know is pain. That's how powerful your programming is. But now, you're becoming conscious. You're realizing that self-sabotage is not random. It's predictable. And that means it can be rewired. Let's break this cycle together. 1. Identify your sabotage patterns. The first step to healing is always awareness. Ask yourself, when do I usually self-sabotage? What triggers it? What story do I tell myself right before it happens? Maybe you say, I'm not ready. I always mess this up. It's too good to be true. Those thoughts are not harmless. They are traps. Once you name them, you take their power away. 2. Connect the pattern to a deeper belief. Every destructive habit is rooted in a belief. And most of the time, that belief sounds like, I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough. If I succeed, I'll lose people. If I shine too bright, I'll be judged. Where did that belief come from? Childhood? A toxic relationship? A traumatic failure? Trace it. Because until you heal the root, you'll keep trimming the same weeds. 3. Rewire with repetition and emotion. Here's the secret. The subconscious mind doesn't respond to logic. It responds to repetition. Jiaon, emotion. So you can't just say, I won't sabotage anymore. You have to install a new story. Say this with me. I deserve good things. I am safe in my success. I don't need to suffer to be worthy. I am allowed to rise without guilt. Say it often. Say it with feeling. Say it when the old pattern tries to sneak in. And eventually, the old programming fades. The new one takes over. And peace becomes your new default. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who finally got a promotion after years of being overlooked. At first, he was excited. Then came the anxiety. He started arriving late to meetings, missing deadlines, avoiding emails. Why? Because deep down, he didn't believe he belonged in that role. He associated leadership with rejection because the last time he stepped into leadership, his father criticized him. So his brain decided, leadership, pain, stay small, equals stay safe. And until he rewrote that belief, he kept sabotaging every opportunity. But once he healed it, once he said, I am safe in leadership, I am allowed to be seen, his performance skyrocketed. And more importantly, his peace returned. You see, self-sabotage is never random. It's always a reaction to a deeper wound. But wounds can heal, and patterns can break. 4. Make success familiar. If your nervous system is used to struggle, then peace will feel boring. Wealth will feel overwhelming. Joy will feel suspicious. So, you have to make success normal. Celebrate small wins. Visualize yourself handling money with ease. Practice receiving compliments without deflection. Let abundance feel safe in your body. Because when success feels familiar, you'll stop running from it. Let's reflect. Where do I sabotage myself most often? What belief is living under that behavior? How can I make success feel safe and familiar starting today? Take your time, because this chapter right here could change everything. It's not about being perfect. It's about becoming aware. It's about catching the pattern in real time and choosing something new. You are not here to sabotage your growth. You are here to sustain it. You are not here to repeat old pain. You are here to rise above it. And you don't have to prove your worth through suffering. You don't have to dim your light to make others comfortable. You are allowed to win. You are allowed to be seen. You are allowed to feel good in your life. Let that truth soak in. You don't need to keep building, only to destroy. You're not here to keep cycling. You're here to evolve. So the next time that voice whispers, don't do it. You'll mess it up again. You say back, that's the old story. But I'm the author now. And this chapter ends in victory. Chapter 10. Take radical responsibility. Stop waiting. Start creating. There comes a moment in every person's life where you have to look in the mirror and say, it's on me now. No more blame. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more pointing fingers at the economy, your parents, your partner, or your past. It's on you. And that is powerful. Because when you realize you're responsible for your life, you stop feeling helpless. You stop waiting for someone to fix it. You stop playing the victim. You step into creation. You step into power. You step into ownership. Let me be clear. Taking radical responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong. It means owning what happens next. It means saying, yes, I was hurt, but I choose healing. Yes, I was broke, but I choose discipline. Yes, I was lost, but I choose vision. Responsibility is not a burden. It's a weapon. And when you pick it up, you become unstoppable. Let me show you what I mean. There was a man who spent years stuck in a cycle of frustration. Every job felt wrong. Every relationship ended the same. Every breakthrough seemed to slip away. And for years he thought, life is against me. Until one day, someone asked him, what if you are the common denominator? That question stung, but it woke him up. He realized something painful, but freeing. No one was coming to save him. And that was the best news of his life. Because if no one else is responsible, that means he could change it. So it did. He stopped blaming his parents for what they didn't teach him. He stopped blaming society for not believing in him. He stopped blaming his past for how he showed up in the present. And he began building with ownership, with intention, with radical, fearless responsibility. And guess what? His life began to shift. Because that's the truth. Your life changes the moment you decide to own it. No matter who hurt you, no matter how unfair it was, no matter how long you've struggled, ownership is the doorway. Responsibility is the reset button. You don't have to fix everything today. You just have to claim your role as the author. Because you are not a victim. You are a creator. And creators don't wait for perfect conditions. They build with what they have, right now. So let's talk about what radical responsibility looks like in real life. 1. Own your choices. Wherever you are right now is the result of 1,000 small choices. Some made in fear, some made in reaction, some made unconsciously. But they were your choices. And that's not to shame you. It's to empower you. Because if you made choices that got you here, you can make new choices that take you somewhere better. You are not stuck. You're just following an old pattern. And patterns can be replaced. 2. Own your energy. You are responsible for the energy you bring into every room, every conversation, every opportunity. If you show up heavy, distracted, bitter, that's your energy. And energy is contagious. Radical responsibility means checking yourself before blaming the world. Ask, what energy am I radiating today? Am I moving with clarity or chaos? Am I adding peace or tension? This isn't about perfection. It's about intention. When you own your energy, you become magnetic, influential, trusted. 3. Own your results. Stop hiding from your bank account. Stop pretending you're doing okay when you know you're not aligned. Stop avoiding the mirror. Look at your results without judgment. Just honesty. Say, this is what I've created so far. Then ask, what do I need to shift internally to create something better? Because results don't lie, but they do respond to responsibility. Now, here's something radical. Stop expecting others to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. It's not their job to support your dream. It's yours. It's not their job to validate your path. It's yours. It's not their job to save you. It's yours. And that's not sad. That's freedom. Because now, you don't have to wait anymore. You can move. You can build. You can rise. Right now, let me offer a metaphor. Imagine your life is a house. Up until now, other people helped build it. Some laid bricks with love. Some smashed windows out of ignorance. Some walked in with muddy feet. But from this point forward, you're the builder. You decide the walls. You decide the foundation. You decide what gets to stay and what gets replaced. That's responsibility, and it's powerful. So here's your reflection. Where have I been giving my power away? What part of my life have I been blaming on others or circumstances? What decision can I make today to take full responsibility for my future? Breathe. This is your moment. Not to shame yourself, but to reclaim yourself, because radical responsibility is not about guilt. It's about freedom. It says, I may not control everything that happened to me, but I will control what I do with it. That's power. That's leadership. That's how transformation begins. So stand tall, own your story, and declare, I'm done waiting. I'm done blaming. I'm done hiding. From this moment forward, I take full responsibility for the life I create. And then, create it. Chapter 11. Build daily the compound effect of mental alignment. Let me tell you something that might change the way you approach your entire life. Big wins come from small habits. Lasting transformation is built daily. Not in a burst of motivation. Not after one breakthrough session. Not because you had a powerful realization, but because you made tiny aligned decisions over and over until they compounded into greatness. That's the secret most people miss. They're chasing the leap, when real growth is in the layering. Because the person you become is created in the quiet hours. In the journaling you almost skipped. In the walk you took instead of scrolling. In the moment you chose to respond with peace instead of anger. That's the real work. That's how you reprogram your mind permanently. Let's be honest. We all want transformation to be fast. We want the results yesterday. We want to skip the process and arrive at the reward. But the truth is, your life is not transformed by what you do occasionally, but by what you do consistently. And when you align your daily actions with your mental programming, the results become inevitable. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a drop of water hitting a rock. One drop means nothing, but drop after drop, day after day, eventually carves through stone. That's what you're doing with your mind. You are dropping new beliefs, new behaviors, new thoughts into the foundation of who you are. And over time, you carve a new identity, a new standard, a new life. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman who had tried everything to change her life. Courses, books, seminars. She'd have big breakthroughs, but nothing would stick. She'd feel inspired for a week, then fall back into the same chaos. Why? Because she was chasing intensity instead of consistency. Until one day, a coach told her, forget motivation. Just build one habit, one that your future self will thank you for. So she started waking up 30 minutes earlier. Not to work, not to grind, just to sit with her thoughts, journal, and center herself. At first it felt small, insignificant, but after 90 days, something had changed. Her anxiety dropped. Her vision got clearer. Her choices became sharper. Her business began to grow. Her relationships deepened, not because she added something massive, But because she honored something consistent, that's the compound effect. It's invisible at first, but undeniable over time. So how do you align your mind and habits to work together daily? Here's how. 1. Choose micro habits that reflect your identity. Forget huge goals for a moment. Ask instead, what does the future version of me do every day without thinking? What's one small action that proves I am becoming that person? It could be writing 3 affirmations each morning, saying thank you out loud before your feet hit the floor, reviewing your vision board while brushing your teeth, tracking where your money goes each evening. These might seem simple, but done daily, they are proof that you've chosen a new identity. 2. Design your environment for mental success. Willpower is weak. Environment is stronger. If you want to reprogram your mind, make your surroundings support your new thinking. Keep empowering words visible. Turn off notifications that feed chaos. Set reminders that bring you back to alignment. Unfollow voices that drain your energy. Create a mental ecosystem where peace, power, and discipline become normal. 3. Celebrate every aligned action. Most people only celebrate when something big happens, but the compound effect works best when you reward the process. So, when you complete your morning ritual, celebrate. When you choose discipline instead of distraction, celebrate. When you speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism, celebrate. Why? Because what gets rewarded gets repeated. And repetition is the language of the subconscious. Now here's something profound. Your future is not created by time. It's created by rhythm. If your rhythm is chaos, your future will reflect that. If your rhythm is peace, structure, and alignment, so will your life. And it doesn't take perfection. It takes pattern. Here's the metaphor. Your life is like a garden. Every day, you are planting seeds of thought, of behavior, of energy. Some grow quickly, some take time, but eventually, your garden becomes your reality. And if you want to harvest wealth, peace, and power, you have to sow the right seeds daily. No more skipping the process. No more waiting for inspiration. No more letting emotion dictate action. You move because you're aligned, not because you feel like it. That's what powerful people do. They don't react. They build. Let's reflect. What's one small daily habit I can commit to that matches the future I want? What part of my environment is reinforcing the old me and needs to change? How can I make discipline feel natural by repeating it with rhythm? Take a breath. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but with intention. Consistency is louder than motivation. And small steps compound into quantum shifts if you just don't quit. So this either every day I build. Every day I align. Every day I become the person my future is waiting for. That's how you reprogram your mind. That's how you win. One aligned step at a time. Chapter 12. Embody the new you, live it. Don't just learn it. You've made it this far. Through every mental layer. Through every emotional rewrite. Through every inner challenge. You've faced the old story. You've felt the resistance. You've broken the loops. But now comes the most powerful shift of all. You must embody the new you. Not just understand the concepts. Not just say the affirmations. Not just know the strategies. You must become it. Fully. Unapologetically. Completely. Because the final step in reprogramming your mind is to stop trying to become and start living as if you already are. Let me ask you a bold question. Are you still waiting for permission to walk like the version of you who already made it? Because here's the truth. You will not receive the life you want until you live from the version of you who already has it. You have to embody the wealth, embody the peace, embody the power before the results arrive. Because the mind doesn't wait for proof, it responds to identity. And when you embody a new identity, your entire reality shifts to match it. Let me show you how this works. There was a woman who had been stuck in self-doubt for years. She had the knowledge. She had the skills. She had the vision. But she kept saying, I'm not ready yet. I still need to heal more. I still need to figure everything out. Then one day, her mentor asked, if you were already healed, if you were already successful, If you were already powerful, what would you do differently today? And something inside her snapped. She stood taller. She spoke louder. She charged higher. She stopped apologizing. Not because she suddenly became someone new, but because she stopped waiting to feel ready. She embodied her future. And the future responded. That's the shift. And now it's your turn. Here's how to embody the new you. 1. Make decisions from your future, not your fear. When you face a decision, big or small, ask, what would the aligned, wealthy, peaceful version of me choose here? Would they delay? Would they downplay their value? Would they give in to old emotion? Or would they lead? Would they act with clarity? Would they trust their vision? Every decision you make is a vote for your future self or your past self. So choose wisely. 2. Walk into every room with ownership. Stop shrinking. Stop asking for permission. Stop explaining why you deserve to be there. You are the evidence. Your presence is the proof. You're not just getting there. You're already here. Walk like you belong. Speak like you believe. Move like someone who knows who they are. Because when you own the room internally, the external world will match it. 3. Anchor your identity with rituals. Rituals are the root system of your identity. When you repeat behaviors that reflect who you've become, you cement the transformation. So start anchoring. Drink your tea like a calm, grounded person. Review your goals like a leader. Sit in silence like someone who trusts their power. Enter your workspace like someone who owns their mission. These aren't random actions. They're embodiment. They're how you remind your nervous system, this is who we are now. Now, here's a powerful mindset. I don't chase results. I embody the reality and let the results chase me. You don't need to force. You don't need to beg. You don't need to exhaust yourself trying to prove you're worthy. You already are. And when you live from that space, you stop chasing and start attracting peace, respect, wealth, alignment, because the world mirrors who you are being, not what you're saying. So make your presence the statement. Let's reflect. What version of myself am I still postponing? What actions do I take that still align with the old me? What would change if I fully embodied the new me today? Sit with those questions. Let them work through you. Because this is where the reprogramming becomes real. Not when you finish the book. Not when you hit a milestone. Not when someone else validates you. But when you wake up and decide, I am no longer waiting to become. I am becoming now. I am living it now. I am walking in alignment now. Let that version rise. Let them take over. Let them make the decisions. Because the new you is not a fantasy. They've been waiting, watching, hoping you'd let go of the doubt, and finally give them the keys. And now, you're ready. So stand up, look in the mirror, and say with full conviction, this is who I am now. I don't just know it. I live it. I am it. From this day forward, I embody everything I've reprogrammed to believe. And that's when the real magic begins. Conclusion. Reprogrammed for wealth, peace, and power. This is your new life. Take a breath. You've walked through the layers, faced your patterns, exposed the lies, and rewritten the code that once kept you small. This is no longer just an audiobook. It's a transformation. And now, there is no going back. Because the moment you see the truth, the moment you feel the shift, the moment you remember your power, you can never again pretend to be powerless. So let's revisit the ground we've walked. You learned that your mind is programmable, that everything you believe, act on, and attract is a direct result of the stories coded deep within your subconscious. But what was programmed by fear can be reprogrammed by choice. You deleted the virus of scarcity. You upgraded your self-image. You confronted the inner saboteur and replaced it with an inner guide. You tuned in to the frequency of wealth. You embraced discipline not as punishment, but as the pathway to peace. You rewrote the scripts in your mind. Because thoughts really do become things. You stopped living from memory and started creating from vision. You broke cycles of self-sabotage. You stopped waiting for rescue and took radical responsibility. Then you built momentum, brick by brick, habit by habit, because now You understand? Success is a rhythm. Peace is a decision. Power is a state of being. And finally, you did the most important thing of all. You stopped trying to become the new you and started embodying the new you. You became the proof. That's the journey. That's what it means to reprogram your mind for wealth, peace, and power. And it doesn't stop here. Now it's time to carry this forward, not just as inspiration, but as your new operating system. So let me leave you with this. You were not born to live small. You were not designed for mediocrity. You were not created to be buried under fear, doubt, and distraction. You are here to shine, to rise, to overflow with wealth without guilt, to move in peace without apology, to speak with power without waiting for permission. But you must protect your mind daily, because the world is loud. The world will try to reset your programming, to pull you back into fear, to tempt you into distraction. But you know better now. You know how to pause. You know how to reflect. You know how to choose alignment again and again. You know the process. Audit your thoughts. Anchor new beliefs. Create empowering rituals. Move like the future is already yours. You have the blueprint, and you have the authority. So don't ask for change, embody it. Don't beg for peace, protect it. Don't chase power, walk in it. Because when your inner world is aligned, your outer world has to follow. It's not magic, it's mastery. And it belongs to you now. Let's close with some final reflection questions. What part of you have you reclaimed during this journey? What old version of you have you finally outgrown? Who are you choosing to be from this moment forward? Don't rush your answers. Let them rise. Feel them in your bones, because your life will mirror the identity you claim today. This is not the end. It's the beginning of a mind that works for you, not against you. The beginning of decisions made from power, not panic. The beginning of wealth that flows with ease, not struggle. And the beginning of peace that lives inside you, not dependent on anyone else. This is what you've stepped into. This is who you are now. So I want you to say this out loud with me one last time. I have reprogrammed my mind. I walk in abundance. I live in alignment. Irradiate peace. I embody power. This is my new life, and I am never going back. If this message lit a fire in you, if this transformation spoke to your soul, if you felt seen, heard, and activated, then do this. Like this video, comment below what resonated most. Subscribe to the channel, RID, and go watch the next powerful transformation we've crafted just for you. Your mind is the most powerful force you'll ever control. And now that it's reprogrammed, your reality will never be the same. You're ready now. Go walk in it. I believe in you. And more importantly, you believe in you.